YouTube, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Justice coming at y'all with another YouTube energy read, another energy video. Hope this finds you guys at a clarifying time of your day. It's been a minute. I've been going through a lot of changes and transformations in which we're going to get into in this reading. In terms of, there's going to be a general message presiding for a lot of you in differentiated ways, but I hope you guys have been all right. I hope you guys have been straight, but I've been missing kind of the YouTube thing and my collective. I've been kind of ghosted off because I've been going through a lot of changes in my life, but a lot of adaptations that I'm having to kind of integrate into my reality, a lot of changes that have shifted me in a very drastic way. But this is a message for a lot of people that have gone through such shifts. You know, a lot of our lives, we go through a lot of these type of changes and shifts that, you know, shift you in a whole different trajectory. So we're going to get into that, but let's go and get started. All your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes are always appreciated. Angels of the highest white light, ancestors of the highest white light, please bestow upon me clear and concise. Alright, please bestow upon me clear and concise channel messages for what my collective needs to hear. Ancestors and angels of the highest white light, thank you and Ashe. Starting off, the general message I have right now is a lot of you guys, or for whoever this is for, remember, take what resonates and leave the rest behind, please. Use your intuitive discretion at all times. But you'll know if this message is for you. A lot of you guys are going through massive transformations in your life, and that's a generalization for what we're going to get into. But a lot of massive transformations that have you coming off a bit unrecognizable, maybe to people that once knew you, or people that do know you, or people that have been watching you, people that aren't watching you, people that haven't seen you in a while, people that have been seeing you concurrently. These type of changes can be very, very shifting or shocking, or shifting is the word I was looking for in itself for other people that perceive these things. A lot of you guys go through different situations, and a lot of you guys go through a lot of changes that are not really seen by the public. A lot of you guys go through a lot of things that you may not be showing to the public. You may not be outwardly conveying to the public, right? And so when I say the public outwardly, that could be just in your outward environment, that could be around you, that could be on a public sphere such as myself. But a lot of you guys go through these changes and you may go ghost on people, or you may not go ghost on people. You may go through things silently on a psychological, spiritual, emotional level that a lot of people may not take to in a certain way until it's shown, or until it's conveyed, or until it comes out, right? And so a lot of you guys go through a lot of changes that require a lot of shifts in how you're perceiving situations. A lot of you guys have had to evolve the way you perceive things. A lot of you guys have had to evolve the way that you handle certain situations in terms of how you're approaching them. So a lot of you guys have gone through life changes. A lot of you guys have gone through economic changes. A lot of you guys have gone through familial changes. A lot of you guys have gone through social changes that have had you kind of put in a new sphere, or a different sphere that has you learning or seeking something new. So what I'm saying is, with that, all that to say, a lot of you guys really are at a point where maybe your past timelines, or past, memories, or past regressions, past connections with people don't resonate the same way, right? And so maybe there's an energetic shift that people can sense in you, or sense around you, that has, I'm gonna get into that too, that has the differences and changes in your life, in your environment, and the social dynamics that you have with people that are based on these changes that you have inside yourself, or these changes that you developed inside yourself, outside yourself, in your environment, outside your environment, within your own environment, your own temple, whatever that may be. But what these changes do cause is causes shifts everywhere. And a lot of you guys have gone through big changes, massive changes in your life that 303, as I'm looking at it, have required you to kind of unify yourself to a higher understanding, or unify yourself to a higher consciousness, a higher being to seek after. And when I say that, it's usually the Most High, right? In terms of, a lot of you guys go through, I'm going to get into that too, just kind of channeling off that. I don't have my cards right now, so I'm just going at it intuitively, right? A lot of you guys go into situations, or I've come out of situations with different philosophical meanings or different philosophical perspectives. A lot of you guys seek these philosophical perspectives because of what it does or what it's aligning you to is a unified understanding. So when we're going through massive changes in our lives, sometimes we don't know the best answer. Sometimes we don't know what to do. Sometimes we don't know anything better but to seek the higher, right? And sometimes that's supposed to happen in a lot of our lives. A lot of times it comes to this detour point or maybe a crossroads point. A lot of you guys have gone through crossroads with maybe people you love, people that you were known to be associated with, or environments you were known to be associated with, or psychological associations with. What was home, what was this, what was that. A lot of you guys have gone through a lot of these big expansive shifts when you weren't expecting it, or when you may have felt you weren't ready for it. That's usually how it happens, but it unifies you to align you to a higher understanding or a higher consciousness or a higher embodiment of yourself. And so with this message, I'm going at that specifically. A lot of you guys are stepping into higher embodiments of yourself that may not make sense to others. Those decisions, the emotionality, your conditionality. So whatever conditions, circumstances you find yourself in, people may not understand where you are or how you are there or how you're moving through that sphere, right? And so a lot of you guys are moving into transcending. You're transcending something that may have not been seen before by you. So in a generality, what I'm saying is a lot of you guys, when you're ascending or when you're moving towards that higher, a lot of things may not make sense because a lot of things that used to make sense to you usually get stripped away from you. You usually get 515, as I said that. You know, usually shift, right? There's usually things about comfortability, things that we're used to, things that we thought were always going to be there. Those type of things always get moved around by the Most High. Or when you're moving with that higher understanding or moving towards a higher path of understanding or alignment, right? And so a lot of you guys go through these circumstantial shifts in your life that you may not understand. You may not have a teacher to hold your hand through it, because usually a lot of times a lot of you guys are awakening to the higher embodiment of what you're supposed to be doing here, maybe for others or for yourself, right? And so with these higher understandings, what strips down or what gets, stripped away or detoured away is the things that are no longer in relativity to where you're at now. And so alignment is something that can be very difficult to understand when it's only energetically sought after. And a lot of you guys understand what I just said, right? You may not have ever said it like that, right? When we're seeking alignment, it usually doesn't make sense logically. It usually doesn't make sense on an analytical level, even though our mind tries to make it make sense to ourselves 1,000 times. Sometimes it won't. And that's kind of the acceptance port that I want to kind of render into the intuitive awareness of a lot of you guys through changes that you may not have gotten the reason for. You may not have understood why. You may not have gotten that answer, right? Sometimes we're looking for an answer and we never seek the answer because it's not about the answer. It's about the path to that answer. That could be a message for somebody, right? So there's a lot of shifts and changes that maybe people around you are perceiving in you, right? A lot of you guys are going through changes that people have never maybe seen you speak that way, maybe seen you move that way, maybe see you align that way with something else. Maybe people are used to you embodying something that is more comfortable to their sense of knowing you. And so a lot of times we can succumb ourselves or isolate ourselves into that box that fits somebody else's comfortability. And it's usually not so blunt and direct like that to be like that. But a lot of you guys, a lot of things get shifted out of your life or realigned out of your life for these reasons, because there's more for you to express, there's more for your soul to express, there's more for your soul to do, there's more purpose in it. And whatever that trajectory that we usually find confusion in, there's usually a reason, a meaning behind that. And it's usually sought after in hindsight or usually sought after in understanding along the way. And so a lot of you guys are on that along the way part, right? A lot of you guys are moving through a lot of changes and transformations. A lot of you guys are validating yourselves. A lot of you guys are validating your intuition. A lot of you guys are following that North Star. A lot of you guys have been really, really honing in on maybe not giving a fuck what the next person thinks about you. Not giving a fuck what the next person has to judge about you or what they think about what you feel to do, what you feel aligned to do. So a lot of that comes with an acceptance of a higher path, right? A lot of that comes with acceptance to transcending something that maybe you wanted to seek or your soul wanted to seek out of, or you wanted to seek alignment to, maybe a better thing or maybe something higher or maybe healing, right? But the path to it is usually not really understood. It's not usually meant to be understood. Because that path to it, a lot of unraveling, and I'm going to get into that next. A lot of you guys have gone through unravelings, unlearnings, psychologically reevaluating how you look at things, how you were taught to look at things. A lot of that comes into play in how you shift your reality and how those shifts take place. A lot of you guys are past this point. A lot of you guys are still reevaluating certain things. And I am too every day, right? In terms of perspective. You'll never get enough of perspective. There's always a different one. There's always another one. And it's important to have multiple different perspectives of something before you come to your own objective realization or analysis of it. It's a message for somebody too. But a lot of you guys are going through shifts that's going to renew some sense of your higher understanding or your higher self in this lifetime. A lot of us come into this motherfucker, we're indoctrinated to think a certain way, to move a certain way, and to occupy our space and time in this world a certain way. And so that reevaluating, that unlearning and relearning, those adjustments are very necessary for these huge shifts that, start to kind of reveal itself, right? And a lot of times the externalization of these shifts you guys are going through have been long due, have been in the makings for a long time. And so sometimes people can catch a certain glimpse of something that they may not understand how much hurt or how much pain you had to get through to get on the other side. They may not understand how many times you've been wrong to find that one right. You know what I mean? That one right can just show up in you healing, or showing up in you being more peaceful with yourself, at peace with yourself, at peace with the circumstances around you. Those things may be underestimated in terms of, like I said earlier in this video, the silence behind a lot of you guys' tribulations, the silence behind a lot of you guys' secret battles and things like that. They show up outwardly in a way that it almost comes overnight, but it's really something that is built on and integrated through a lot of tribulations. Like I said, a lot of unlearning and relearning. And I used to say, unwiring wires, tangled wires, tangled wires, right? And sometimes what I'm saying on a metaphorical level, those tangled wires can usually represent indoctrination, trauma, clutter. And what that represents is density that keeps us away from the light body that we're meant to activate. And so a lot of you guys are taking those proactive steps in terms of moving towards a higher body, not only understanding, but externalization of your being, right? A lot of you guys are transcending from just being, practicing things in the spiritual realms, but actually practicalizing it in the physical realm. That's another thing I've been working on myself, in terms of a lot of you guys have these creative abilities, these gifts on a spiritual level that you can also transcend into the physical, in your physical environment around you. And so that's just like a message for somebody, just a higher ambition. It doesn't just go in the spiritual, it originates in the spiritual realm. But how it transcends in the physical is always different than how we interpret it to be. A lot of you guys are very gifted in terms of your intuitive awareness. And you may underestimate certain physical correlations to that intuition, physical correlations to your gifts, physical correlations to your groundedness, or your sense of healing abilities. A lot of you guys are coming into a form of acceptance of these, identifications or standards of what it is that it is your higher understanding, or what you're seeking through your higher understanding. And so these changes can show up a little differently in your environment or to the people around you that may not understand that path and the trajectory going toward it. That's my last message though. A lot of you guys are going through powerful renewals or powerful activations, even past life activations. That's a message, just channeling it. A lot of you guys have been here before. A lot of you guys understand certain things that, shouldn't be or should be. A lot of you guys understand exactly where you're supposed to be and feel like you're not there, or feel like you're, in a place where you're stuck or you're contaminated or you're conflicted. Usually it's about the journey there. A lot of us want to have a head start to get to the finish line, and it's about the journey there. It's about the progression, maybe the unlearning, the untangling of the wires, maybe the progression, the building of what it is to come through you, whether that's physically, spiritually, emotionally, whatever that is that's building through you. It's about the process to it. It's about the journey and the understanding of it. And so that's my last one, I promise. If you need a person with me, hit up Shamika-san with a C and Shamika@gmail.com. I've got a couple of partnerships I'll have in the description. Amazon Web Services, Rose Forever New York, and Otter Spirit. So for any vibration enhancing jewelry with Otter Spirit, there's 20% off. 20% off of Rose Forever New York for any rose bouquets and things like that. Flower decor, and Amazon Web Services for any development servicings or any type of tools like that, software tools like that, programming tools. Besides that, that should be it for me. But it's your boy Justice. I'm going through a lot of powerful changes myself, and I just need to get back on my YouTube to get back to y'all. It's your boy Justice. I'm sending my love and Ashe. Peace out, y'all.